Let's get on with this. Episode 4, sequencing. 123's the MPC2000 with Dick Hifi. We're going to get into sequencing, like I said. So that happens here in main screen. So you're going to hit main screen, and that's where we're at. Let's go over this page real quick. First thing you're going to see is going to say SQ. That's the sequence. It's an 01 and sequence 01. It's totally blank right now. So the first thing we're going to do is name it something. Though I usually put some kind of data in before I name it, because whatever. We just name it whatever we want. So let's name it Raquel. It's a good name. It's my daughter's name. It's not, but it could be. Anyway, so we renamed it that. Directly under that, you're going to see this little note, quarter note symbol with a number right behind it. It says 120.0. That is the BPM. 120 is not what I want. So I'm going to just press 94 and hit enter. That might not be what I want either, but it's for starters. So we're going to put that. Scrolling there, right from there, we're going to go to timing. This is the quantizing. This is an automatic quantization. It will shift the notes around to the nearest strong note. And you can pick the increment of that. It can be eighth notes, eighth note triplets, 16th note triplets, 30 seconds triplets, and so on. If you hit the open window page on that, it lets you edit it further, choosing the amount of swing and whatnot. Is that how they call it? Note value off. Oh yes, timing correct, so that you can have the amount there. It goes from 0 to 23. So, and you can shift timing earlier or later after the note. I think that goes to 24. So you can choose to use this, or you could not. You could leave it off, or you can quantize it. It depends on what you want to do. Sometimes I quantize. Sometimes I just want it loose and sloppy. There's a lot of that going around these days. I've heard it. Next, you're going to see the track number right under that. So it's track 01. It's also a good idea to name that, but we don't know what we're going to put on there, so we're not going to name it yet. For right now, we're going to be using just the machine internally. So where it says drum, leave it on off. Velocity as well for now, just leave it on off. You can have it, you can dial your velocity up and down, meaning you have a larger swing in the dynamics of the note. Program off, and this track is set to no right now. So if it would be on yes if we had something. So you can also do the same thing by pressing the F3 button right here. It says turn off. So that's toggling your track on and off. The default is going to be 2 bars. So if you want something besides 2 bars, you're going to scroll right over to 2 bars, and you're going to put it on however many bars you want. Say you want 17, because you're weird. Then you would just put it on 17 and hit do it. But we're just going to leave it at 2 and hit do it, because I just want 2 bars right now. So loop on, that just means it's going to play continually, like we like. You can turn that off. You can leave it on. So that's pretty much it. Now, I will say that wait, there was something else in terms of click track. I saw it somewhere. Oh, count. Count is on. That's basically referring to your click. You can open window on that. You can open window on pretty much all the stuff and get into some more depths of it. We're not going to touch on that right now. This is the click track. So it's going to give you a count of 4 quarter notes to the measure, because we're in 4/4. You can also change your time signature right here. I didn't mention that, but y'all are going to use 4/4 anyway. I know you are. Just kidding. Feel free to use whatever time you want. Yeah, it's on. The click track on this machine is terrible. Can't even hear it when you're using it. I usually just quantize something else to substitute for that click track. and it sounds a little bit better. I don't have anything loud, but I'll usually use like a hi-hat or something. So let's just start with that. I'm going to go to track 3 because we're eventually just going to erase this. It says unused. I'm going to go to timing. We're going to put it on 1/8 notes, and we're just going to use this, which is not much better than the click on there, to make ourselves a little click track. So we're just recording a track in essence is what we're doing. We're going to hold down record, and we're going to hit play start. So all right, so that's quantized to right on the 1/8 note, and then we got those hi-hats as a guide, and which is even more quiet than the shitty click track. So I did a great job with that, huh? Anyway, use a louder sound. Use something that way you can hear it. It'll be easier to record for you if you don't like the click. If you like the click that is in there, then just use that. Or don't use a click at all. I'm going to turn this back to off. And we're going to go back to track 1. We're just going to do a quick little drum pass. Just something very simple. I got some sounds loaded up in here. Just a kick, snare, our little aforementioned hi-hat there, and we're just going to do something just real quick. I hated that. All right, that was the general idea, but what I'm going to do now is quantize it because I don't feel like fussing with it right now. So I'm going to go to 16th. I'm going to open the page. The swing is now on, so we can turn the swing up to, I don't know, it goes up to 75, between 50 and 75. Let's go 62 on the swing. And in this amount earlier or later, I like to be a little later because I have a tendency to play earlier, so if it's going to improve me, let's really make it improve me. All right, so that's where it's at right now. We're going to do the same thing. All right, that sounds good. The MPC2000 and all the Akai MPC family, what they are known for more than anything is their sequencer. It is rock solid. The quantizer is good. It's usable, and it's superior to the one on the ASR. And it's part of the reason why using these two machines together is really such a good combination. It really brings stuff out in the ASR that when you put them together, you can see the strengths of both machines. But that's for another day. So we got that track. Now let's say we want to overdub something on that same track. We would use overdub and just go right into it. So I want to add like a kick or something. So I just added that one beat. Now, if I didn't like that, what I just did, I would hit undo sequence, and that would go away. But I liked it, so I'm going to leave it. Now, once I did another overdub on that, you couldn't remove that in that using that method. Again, it would be 2 steps back, and you can't do that like this. But I could erase it by doing overdub and then hitting erase. So let's say, all right, let's say I want to get, just for the sake of this demonstration, let's get rid of that snare. So we're going to hit overdub, play, start. I'm going to hold down erase. Oh. All right, see, I made a mistake. That's good because I can show you now. I can undo that erase. I was holding down the hi-hat when I was trying to hold down the snare. So I'll do that. the hi-hats are still there. Now, let's try to get rid of that snare. Hit overdub, hold down erase, second snare. See, it's gone. So you could use that method to get rid of any note on that, as long as you're on the right track that you're supposed to be doing. Sometimes you get confused because you have a lot of tracks in there and you think you're erasing something that's on that track, but you're on the wrong track. Just keep track of your tracks. Sorry. All right, so the truth is I like that snare, so we're going to put it back. And we're going to overdub again. All right. It's back. So that's pretty much it. That track for right now is intact. Now let's say we want to put something else on there. We're going to go to track, highlight that, scroll up. It says unused. There's nothing on that track. So we got some bass sounds. Let me go into program real quick and put these in mono mode, take them out of poly. And again, I'm not going for something mind-blowing here. We're just showing you what's going on. So don't make fun of this beat, please. Here we go. We're going to be going back main screen. Track 2 is unused. I don't know. We're just going to use that. So here we go. Press record. Hold that down. Hit play start. All right, simple enough. Now let's say we want to just add that in there on the same track. Let's overdub it. We'll do the same thing. I didn't quite like that. Let's try that again. I like that. I've definitely made worse. That is the basics of sequencing. I'm going to show you something else here. Oh, let me talk. Let me. So we'll go back to this again. This turn off and on thing. So while you have that track selected, I'm in track 2, which was our little bass and piano licks there. So if I hit this, turn off, we're just back to our drums again. Turn it, hit it again, and it's back on. Or we can solo it and make that track play by itself. Doesn't sound like great by itself. Bring the drums back in. Another very cool feature of this sequencer is that you can incrementally change the BPM. It's not 94 to 95 to 96. It's 94.0, 0.1, 0.2. It's like a radio dial. That comes in handy, actually, if you're trying to like use a certain sample and not pitch it up or down, and just matching tempos. It's great. Can't say enough about this sequencer. But that's basically, you know, everything. You can open windows on stuff and do a little bit more exploring on that. There's plenty more to know about it, but that's the basics. That's what we're trying to cover here. So, oh, I wanted to go into step for a second here. This is a lot, and it's pretty in depth, but I'm just going to touch on it. Step sequencing is sequencing using numbers and math rather than playing. It's good for deleting things. It's also good for inserting things, and you can adjust things. So I'm going to just touch on this real quickly because it's a whole lesson in and of itself, really. So you're viewing all events within that track. This is your bar and your beat, and then your 96 subdivisions of that beat. So we're in bar 1, beat 1. this is what is on that track. It's A09, which is that was the bass track. So that's what you see there. If you just go step by step, and this is when you use this portion of the transport. So you hear that kick, but you don't see any numbers. It's because we're in track 2. So if we go to track 1 and then we go to step edit, when you hear those sounds as you go through the steps, and it's not playing every beat, you'll notice, it's playing the steps where you have information. So this is what it is. This is the pad number. This is the duration, which doesn't come into play because we don't have the hold down feature activated there. It's just going to play the whole sound all the way through. But you can adjust the duration. And then you have the velocity. So you'll notice that as I hit this, see the duration change and the velocity change. If I do that, it goes to 38. So you can change that information in there. You can also, see, look, so I accidentally hit a pad. I want to take that out. So I'm going to highlight that and hit delete. You can scroll through this, use the bars to go through, find your information, add information, delete information, copy moves. There's really a lot you can do with it. Like I said, it's really in depth. So if you're interested in doing the step edit, get in there, poke around. It's not complicated or hard to understand, but it can be a little tedious. Now, the only thing left as far as the basics of that goes is if saving the sequence. So you would go just like everything else when you go to save it. Shift disk. It's going to, now I'm using the SD, so I'm going to shift my device to SCSI. And what I want to save is that sequence. So we're going to hit save. And it says save a sound. Nope, we want to go to save a sequence. That's it. Raquel. If your name's Raquel, I'm not laughing at it. It's a nice name. It's just, I don't know. I got problems. So yeah, we would hit do it. MIDI type, yeah, that's good. Save it. And that's it. That's pretty much it. That's the basics of sequencing. Like I said, there's a lot more to it. You can copy sequences, delete sequences. Let's hit that real quick. So open that window, delete and copy. Copying sequences is a great way to, if you did a drum track that's like pretty in depth, or any track that's in depth, and you want to use it on a separate sequence, you just copy that whole sequence and then delete the tracks out that you want to change. So if I wanted to keep those drums, I would say, do I want to copy this sequence? I would say, yes, do it. So now it's sequence 2. What we're going to do is open that and rename it Raquel 2. Enter. And close. So now I know which one is which. There's Raquel and Raquel 2. So I can go to track 2 now. Open this window and then delete it. So now, was I in the right one? I was in the wrong one. Anyway, it's the opposite. Raquel 2 has the original bass line, and the original sample is now devoid of that. So we could put a different bass line if we wanted to now. So we'll go with this one. And then we'll overdub some other stuff here. Anyway, you get the idea. You do what you will with that, man. It's a lot of fun. And that's what it's all about. So we'll see you on the next episode. Until then, just have fun with it. Later.